Hello everyone, so as I've already mentioned in my previous reading, I am doing a series focusing on the 7 deadly sins. I've already done a reading focused on pride, and this one is focusing on greed. It sounds scary, it is not scary. It sounds judgmental, it's not judgmental. I'm actually quite happy with how the reading's gone so far. With this reading, I am picking up somebody that's extremely tough, and I'm actually looking forward to getting the message out with what I'm picking up. So, just quickly talk about greed. Now, usually when people hear the word greed, they do often think, or we often think of somebody wanting more money, more possessions, or more success. I've been in relationships where it's money, 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 money. I've worked for companies and people that are obsessed with greed and money, but I'm actually picking up on a completely different energy. And there is also another energy to it as well, another side of greed. Sometimes, greed develops after periods of instability, loss, disappointment, or having to start over repeatedly. So when life has shown us what it feels like to have things taken away, it can be difficult not to hold on tightly to what we have. And sometimes what appears to be greed is actually fear. Fear of not having enough, fear of losing what's already been worked so hard for, fear of finding yourself back in situations that you've fought so hard to move beyond. Yeah. So this reading, with the top row, I am focusing on how is this energy limiting your growth. The bottom row is focusing on what change will help you reclaim your power. I've pulled an animal oracle card, and I will also mention, I will bring up about what I'm feeling with the star card at the bottom of the deck. So, Wolverine. This really does make a lot of sense with the rest of the reading. Now, it says here, you are a lot tougher than you think you are. And what I'm picking up, you really are, my darling. The Wolverine doesn't feel like an easy energy, okay? Actually, to me, it feels like resilience. It feels like somebody who has faced challenges, setbacks, disappointments, and moments where you've had no choice but to keep going, okay? This feels like an energy that knows what it means to rebuild, okay? Whether that's been financially, emotionally, professionally, or personally. There is definitely a strong sense of here of having to start again more than once, okay? What I love about the Wolverine is that it doesn't focus on what has been lost. It does focus on what has been gained through surviving it, which is strength, endurance, determination, resourcefulness. Because usually, when life has forced us to rebuild multiple times, it is really understandable that we begin preparing for the next challenge before we've even had the chance to appreciate currently where we are. And sometimes we become so focused on making sure we never lose everything again that we actually forget to recognise everything we've already achieved. Okay, so with the Three of Pentacles and the Sun, on how this energy is limiting your growth, what is interesting is that these are actually, all the cards really are different energy, but the cards are actually very positive. The Three of Pentacles speaks of skills, experience, knowledge, growth, and everything that has been learned through life's challenges, okay? The Sun brings confidence, success, recognition, joy, and the ability to see things clearly. So I don't feel like these cards are showing the lack of success. I actually feel like they're asking you to really recognise the success that already exists, okay? Some may be so focused on, you might, kind of be like really focused on what's already missing, what hasn't happened yet. What still needs to be fixed, or what could potentially be lost, okay? That you might be overlooking everything that's already been built. The skills that you've developed, the lessons you've learned, the wisdom you've gained, the ability to adapt when plans change, the ability to solve problems when life becomes difficult, the ability to learn, grow, and keep moving forward, my darling. These are the things that cannot be bought. These that cannot be taken away as easily as money or possessions, my darling. Okay, it really can't. And when I look at this, the Child and the Sun card, I see somebody fully present in the moment. not focused on what they lack, but connected to what they already have. There and here is freedom in that, okay? Really is freedom. The Three of Pentacles feels more serious, more focused on building, preparing for the future. Neither is wrong, but together these cards, really ask an important question. When was the last time you stopped and acknowledged how far you've already come? Now, with the bottom row of what changes will help you reclaim your power, you have the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Cups. For me, this feels like, it kind of feels like seeing yourself and your situation through a completely different lens. The Ace of Swords brings clarity. It asks you to recognize what is actually true rather than what fear keeps suggesting. The Ace of Cups asks for compassion. Compassion towards yourself, compassion towards your journey, compassion towards the parts of you that developed these fears in the first place. Together, they really feel like a reminder to stop measuring security solely through what you've learned, and start recognizing what you've actually become, my darling. Because when I look at the Three of Pentacles and the Sun, I don't see just success. I see experience, I see adaptability, I see resilience, I see knowledge gained through challenges, I see lessons that could have been learned, in any way you would not have been able to learn this from a book, okay? And perhaps more importantly, I see people who have repeatedly found a way forward, even when circumstances were fucking brutal. Those things, my darling, matter. Those things that have value. Those things are a part of your wealth too, okay? And with the Star at the bottom of the deck, I like this. It ties everything beautifully together. The Star feels less about wishing for a better future and more about remembering what truly sustains you, okay? The woman on this card has very little around her, another card like that. Yet she continues pouring into herself and pouring into her future. There really is a quiet understanding with this card that some of the most valuable things in life, my darling, cannot be measured by money, possessions, status or achievements. Your well-being, your peace of mind, your confidence, your relationships, your health, your ability to keep moving forward. The lesson, my darling, I feel from this reading is not that money or security are important, because they absolutely are. But if you have spent years surviving, rebuilding and preparing for that next challenge, there may need to be a need to recognise the strength, the knowledge, the wisdom, the experience and resilience that has been gained along the way. Okay, my darling? These cards aren't asking you to ignore what you've lost. It's kind of like you're being asked to recognise everything you've gained. Because when I feel you begin to see the value in who you've become, not just what you possess, you start to realise that some of your greatest wealth has been within you all along. Okay, I hope this reading's helped. Have a good day. Bye-bye.